Fellow Southern Cameroonians, I found something on the 20th of May 2024. So I said, let me bring it to your attention so that all of us should listen to it and know the truth about our history. Give me some few seconds.
Welcome to narrating. Play by USB drive.
Some people have been asking why May 20 is the country's national day and not a day like October 1, which you talked about, that saw the reunification of Southern Cameroons and La Republic of Cameroon in 1961.
It is important to recall that at one time, 1st January was celebrated as the Independence Day of the former French Cameroon. And 1st October was celebrated as the reunification between Republic of Cameroon and Southern Cameroon, because Southern Cameroon on that day attained independence by joining the Republic of Cameroon. And it should be underscored that there have been several national days in Cameroon. So what is important to bear in mind that the authorities or the people who enjoy the sovereignty can decide based on some historical factors to decide which particular day they will celebrate. And it so happens that the representatives of the people, the National Assembly, and of course the President of the Republic at the time decided that 20th May should be celebrated as National Day and not 1st January and not 1st October.
Victor, make we really be very careful. You political harlots are terrible. Mr. Victor Ngo do have history. He don't know history. Now the reason that way your mommy and papa carry you Cameroon and for Southern Cameroon, you claim and for be your land.
Okay, this already makes me to understand that Mr. Vitongo is not originally a Southern Cameroonian. Okay, lesson learned. And he has been writing the Cameroon history. Let's continue.
When Victor talks about reunification, it shows his level of ignorance on the political history of the territory which we call today either Southern Cameroons or La Republic of Cameroon, provided on what spectrum you belong to.
Okay, wait, does this mean that everything we learn, some of us learn in school about the Cameroon history, were all lies? If this is the case, then I have to call my history teacher, Mr. to join me in this session, and let's have this class together to know the truth. Let's continue.
When they talk about the country called Cameroon, we need to be very careful. There has never been a country called Cameroon. When they bring up this one Cameroon story that we used to be one, it is just terrible, because if that is the case, they should bring also the Fulanese, because our parents used to trade with the Fulanese. So there was never something as a one Cameroon, and there shall never be a one Cameroon. So Mr. Ngo has like no knowledge of international law, and he has this quack history book he's been writing for years that is not even the history of our people.
Oh my God. I'm not the only one listening to this, so we now all they follow me listening to this thing. As in, let's continue, man.
There has been debate over the legality of the May 20, 1972 referendum that led to the dismantling of the Federal Republic comprising West Cameroon and East Cameroon. Was it in conformity or not with the provisions of the 1961 Fumban Constitution?
That is a very important point, and lots of sentiments have been put into it. And before I answer the question, I would like to point out that the ongoing conflict in the Northwest and Southwest region has been aggravated by a misinterpretation, misreading of what occurred on 20th of May 1972, to the extent that some young Cameroonians, mostly Anglophones, have taken up arms, saying that what occurred on the 20th of May 1972 was a violation of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Cameroon. And they cite Article 47, which in summary form says, no revision of this Constitution, which affects the unity and territorial integrity of the Federation, will be admissible. That is the problem.
We are not secessionists. We are not separatists. We are restorationists. We are trying to restore our homeland that is being occupied by La République.
La Republic get independence 1 year 4 months. They were already senior, and this is happening not even up to 1 year. Where Ambazonia, former Southern Cameroon, they get independence.
So Mr. Ngo has this quack history book he's been writing for years. That is not even the history of our people.
Some people.
Oh God. I'm sorry, guy. I'm breaking this down a little bit because I want you people to understand something. This guy is pointing finger at this guy and accusing him for misleading our generation. That's we, the youth of today. We have been fooled for a very long time, and he's accusing him for telling us the truth. Him and other patriotic Southern Cameroonian, because he is not the only one. And by telling us the truth, we have to see the fact we are not illiterate. Our brain, the reason. I don't understand why person go can't tell me say we don't follow na the wrong path, they are misleading you people don't know what you are doing. We have facts. In fact, I am going to personally introduce some of these files to you people. In case you need any of this file, you can indicate in the comment section so that I'll send them directly to you. And if you want more, we are going to provide them to you. So you see example for on this file. So all these files are being presented by this guy. He's going to tell you his name. I will not want to say his name. He himself, when talking, you know who is talking. And because this guy have the opportunity to be hosted by the #1 TV channel of La Republic of Cameroon, which is CRTV. I don't tell una before, these people, they don't get any truth to tell us. I don't tell una before.
We go to fight them day and night, make the devil know say na he be lie. I know the rap for impress my nation, I do rap for defend my nation. See a TV in a fake station, fake news be their main intention. They go stand on to kill them all.
I don't tell una before. CRTV in a fake station, fake news be their main intention. I don't tell una. So they can only give that platform to this guy because he is able to tell the people what they, La Republic, want everybody to know. And they will not give that permission to some of these guys to also come and present facts to the people. But unfortunately for them, some of us are here on social media to bring to you people the truth about every matter that is happening in the northern regions, in the northwest and southwest, that is northern and southern Ambazonian, southern regions of Ambazonian. Yes. So we will always bring you people fact. So permit me, I'm going to rewind these tapes and let's start from the host, which is Mr. Victor Ngo, and the host, CRTV, on Cameroon calling program on the 20th of May, so that you will listen to what Mr. Victor Ngo said, and you are also going to listen to the other side, our own side, that's the Southern Cameroonians side, our own real history. We are going to provide them to you. And in case you are still interested in getting this document that I presented, feel free to inbox me or you write in the comment section how, and we'll provide a link for you people. Thank you very much, and I'll be right back in some few 3, 2, 1 second. Let's go. Yeah, I want to remind you people about my upcoming presentation that I promised to bring to you people. I'll plead on you to be patient. It will soon be out. We are still working on it. It is almost done. Just that I'm working with people who are not in the same host country with me, and it is very difficult to really make things flow the way it has to. But it will be out very soon. So I say, let me just remind you people to let you know that I've not forgotten. Yes. So if you are a newcomer on my page or on my YouTube channel, please subscribe, and I'll always bring you people valuable informations. I'm not a comedian. I can't promise to be coming up online every day or on daily basis. I'm not a comedian, but I promise I'll be coming back with many informations about the truth.
Bazonia.
Cameroon Calling. Cameroon Calling, we give you both sides of the story.
On Cameroon Calling today, to situate May 20 in its proper historical context is a historian who has written several books on Cameroon history, Professor Victor Julious Ngo. In the following interview, I first wanted to know from the professor of history what exactly Cameroonians are celebrating on May 20.
I think this point should be made very clear because there have been lots and lots of confusion, and the public at one time was made to believe that the celebration of May 20th was celebration of reunification. I want to state very clearly that the reunification took place on the 1st of October 1961 between the Republic of Cameroon and the former British Southern Cameroons. So what Cameroonians are celebrating on the 20th of May is the transition from a federal system of government to a unitary system of government. So that's what Cameroonians will be celebrating and have been celebrating since the 20th of May 1972.
Some people have been asking why May 20 is the country's national day and not a day like October 1, which you talked about, that saw the reunification of Southern Cameroons and La Republic of Cameroon in 1961.
It is important to recall that at one time, 1st January was celebrated as the Independence Day of the former French Cameroon. And 1st October was celebrated as the reunification between the Republic of Cameroon and Southern Cameroon, because Southern Cameroon on that day attained independence by joining the Republic of Cameroon. And it should be underscored that there have been several national days in Cameroon. So what is important to bear in mind that the authorities or the people who enjoy the sovereignty can decide based on some historical factors to decide which particular day they will celebrate. And it so happens that the representatives of the people, the National Assembly, and of course the President of the Republic at the time decided that 20th May should be celebrated as National Day and not 1st January and not 1st October.
There has been debate over the legality of the May 20, 1972 referendum that led to the dismantling of the Federal Republic comprising West Cameroon and East Cameroon. Was it in conformity or not with the provisions of the 1961 Fumban Constitution?
That is a very important point, and lots of sentiments have been put into it. And before I answer the question, I would like to point out that the ongoing conflict in the Northwest and Southwest region has been aggravated by a misinterpretation, misreading of what occurred on 20th of May 1972, to the extent that some young Cameroonians, mostly Anglophones, have taken up arms, saying that what occurred on the 20th of May 1972 was a violation of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Cameroon. And they cite Article 47, which in summary form says, no revision of this Constitution, which affects the unity and territorial integrity of the Federation, will be admissible. That is the problem. There are 2 points here. First, the Federation in this context, it should be made very clear. The Federation in this context means the nation, the state, the country, and not the system of government. So that article should be read as follows. No revision of this Constitution which affects the unity and territorial integrity of the nation or of the state or of the country will be admissible. It is not a system of government. And this point is well made in the constitution of West Cameroon. And it seems as if most Cameroonians don't even know that the state of West Cameroon had its constitution. And it clearly stated that federation means the Federal Republic of Cameroon, which, you should explain it, means the nation, the country, the state, and not the system of government. Secondly, Article 47 says no revision should be taken which affect the unity and territorial integrity. But look at Article 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Cameroon. We all agree that in a democratic society, sovereignty lies with the people, which means that given the political, economic, and social evolution of the country, the people can decide what form of government and what system of government they want because they have the sovereignty. And Article 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Cameroon clearly stated the sovereignty lies with the people, with the Cameroonian people. And they can exercise their sovereignty either through the elected members of parliament or by a referendum. And Amadou Ahidjo decided on a referendum to ensure that the people expressed their sovereignty. And of course, the National Assembly, the Federal National Assembly at the time, comprised 50 members, 40 from East Cameroon and 10 from West Cameroon. And there was a proviso which gave veto powers. And it stated clearly, for any major constitutional revision to be implemented, a majority of parliamentarians from both states, East Cameroon, West Cameroon, must accept or must vote yes. Which means that if all the 40 parliamentarians from East Cameroon voted yes, and 4 of the parliamentarians from West Cameroon voted yes, which means 44 parliamentarians voted yes, and 6 parliamentarians from West Cameroon voted no, the revision or the abrogation of the federal system would not have taken place. So Cameroonians should be made to understand that it was not a violation of the Constitution. It was not a violation of Article 47. And I would like to end on this point. Cameroonians, historians, scholars should make the difference between what is constitutionally correct and what is politically unwise.
You said sovereignty lies with the people,
yes,
and yet it's the then President Amadou Ahidjo who decided that sovereignty or the will of the people should be decided through a referendum. Is there an incongruity here?
Of course not, because it was tabled in the National Assembly and the parliamentarians representing the people approved the motion. And of course, for Ahidjo to be very sure, because the tendency at that time, we are talking of 1972, it was a one-party system. And there was a possibility that opponents of the unitary system would say, oh, it was a one-party system and they all toed a party line. Of course, Amadou Ahidjo, as politically smart as he was, said, okay, we'll give it to the people to decide. And by a vast majority, more than 98%, West Cameroonians voted yes. East Cameroon, 98% voted yes. And it is necessary because there's this feeling that was the overwhelming Francophone population, French-speaking population in West Cameroon that tilted the vote. No, we are talking of 1972. We are not talking of 2024. 1972, the proportion of French-speaking Cameroonians in West Cameroon was very, very small. And that played into Ahidjo's decision that the vote should be counted separately, although at the end they were declared as one. And it counted separately. It showed that West Cameroonians, in their vast majority, voted in favor of abrogating the federal system.
How true are claims that the referendum was a choice between we and yes?
This is one of those sentimental distortion of what occurred. And surprisingly, some educated Cameroonians believe that that's what occurred. It was between we and yes. No, there were 2 ballot papers, the white ballot paper and the black ballot paper. The white ballot paper had it in French with the question yes or no, French and English, yes or no. And the black ballot paper had it in French and English, yes or no. So it is dishonest for anybody to say there was only one Hobson choice, yes or we, no. And this comes out very clearly during the campaigns. Augustin Ngomdra explained it very well in the northern section when he said there are 2 questions, 2 ballot papers. One is black, one is white. And he went to the extent of saying white indicates cleanness, purity, and black, evil, darkness. Do you accept white or do you accept black? Do you accept darkness or do you accept evil? And of course, the population said they accepted light. So Cameroonians should understand there were 2 ballot papers, black and white.
What were the factors that favored the vote for a unitary state in 1972?
I should start by explaining that with all due respect to the French political system, the French political system is very uncomfortable with a federal system. It is not in the French political culture. So as far back as 1960, 1961, the advisors of Amadou Ahidjo had in mind a unitary system. But Ahidjo and his advisors knew fully well that it was too early to insist on a unitary system. So even when Ahidjo and Foncha agreed that reunification or this union will be based on federation, and Anglophone meant federal system, but again, it was not clarified. You can have a strongly centralized federal system, and you can have a loose federal system. While the KNDP and Foncha were talking of a loose federal system, Amadou Ahidjo and French Cameroonians were talking of a strongly centralized federal system. So when they met in Fumban and subsequently in the Yaoundé tripartite conference in August, that issue of should it be a centralized federal system or a decentralized federal system had not been solved. So that should be made very, very clear. So between 1961 and 1972, the political system in West Cameroon played into the hands of the proponents of a unitary system. There were serious victimizations in West Cameroon, and it was not Ahidjo who carried out the victimization. It was carried out by West Cameroonians themselves. And of course, government teachers, civil servants, mission students were not well paid, unlike their counterparts in East Cameroon. So the civil servants wanted the same salary structure, and they all supported the dismantling of the federal system. And even within the political class, the political victimization was such that in February 1972, Augustin Ngomjua sent a confidential letter to Amadou Ahidjo, begging Amadou Ahidjo to come and rescue him, or else, quote, Muna and his gangsters will kill him. Those are not my words. So you had a situation where everybody looked up to Amadou Ahidjo. And of course, there were financial scandals, Powercam, Cameroon Bank, and the rest. And at one time, Cameroon Bank, which was the bank of the West Cameroon government, was unable to pay civil servants their salaries. They had to plead with Amadou Ahidjo for financial support in order to secure or revive Cameroon Bank. And it is important to note that during this period, almost 99% of the customers of Cameroon Bank and the workers of Cameroon Bank were all Anglophones. And of course, the issue of oil in Dian, the Nigerian Civil War, which ran from 1967 to 1970, was there. And the Ahidjo government was scared because there were secessionist tendencies in West Cameroon. And Ahidjo felt that should the declared Republic of Biafra succeed, West Cameroon will follow. So to prevent that, a unitary system should be put in place. So those are some of the reasons.
The outcome of the 1972 referendum was the union of two major communities, the Francophones and the Anglophones. And the then constitution did talk of a union on equal terms. From the standpoint of the historian you are, what would you say accounts for the fact that that constitution has not been respected to the letter?
Yeah, I think we have a couple of reasons. First of all, let me clarify a point. When in February 1959, Amadou Ahidjo said at the UN, discussions and union will be done on equal basis. We are talking of February 1959. At that time, French Cameroon was administered by France on behalf of the UN. Southern Cameroons was administered by Britain on behalf of the UN. All the two territories were trust territories of the UN. So at that point, they were equal. So we should take Amadou Ahidjo's statement, February 1959. The two territories, the two parties were equal. But as from January 1st, 1960, and the negotiation between Southern Cameroons and the Republic of Cameroon, which followed after that, unfortunately, the two territories were no longer equal. One was independent and a member of the UN, the other was still a trust territory. But when finally they agreed to achieve independence, they were now equal. Southern Cameroons came in, Republic of Cameroon came in, and the federal constitution was adopted. It should be pointed out, although the federal constitution was adopted, and this is what most Cameroonians and politicians don't want it to be said, history is history. You don't quarrel with a messenger. He brings the news, whether the news is good or bad, it is not his fault. The draft federal constitution, which was an amendment of the constitution of the Republic of Cameroon, was tabled in August 1961 in the National Assembly of the Republic of Cameroon. And the National Assembly of the Republic of Cameroon debated and adopted the draft federal constitution. It was never submitted in the Southern Cameroon House of Assembly for discussion and adoption. That should be made very clear. What was submitted in the Southern Cameroon House of Assembly later in September was not the draft. Amadou Ahidjo signed the draft after the National Assembly of the Republic of Cameroon had adopted it in August. Amadou Ahidjo signed it on the 1st of September 1961. So there again, that's the problem. And this point was raised at the Yaoundé tripartite conference, which ran from 2nd to the 7th of August 1961. Augustin Ngomjua raised the issue. It will be necessary and important for the Southern Cameroon House of Assembly to also deliberate on this draft as what is being done in the Assembly of the Republic of Cameroon. And surprisingly, Augustin Ngomjua was told in the meeting, whatever draft constitution the National Assembly of the Republic of Cameroon adopts, Southern Cameroon is bound to accept. And in the hall, none of the Southern Cameroon's delegates supported Augustin Ngomjua. None. I agree very strongly that unfortunately, although the constitution was drawn up and both parties are equal, in the application, in reality, it came out that Anglophones or West Cameroonians or former Southern Cameroonians had a raw deal. First of all, the population structure was against West Cameroon. Secondly, the inability of West Cameroon politicians to put aside their individual interests in the interests of West Cameroonians was completely lacking. There's this tendency of always saying that Amadou Ahidjo should be blamed. Amadou Ahidjo deceived Foncha. In politics, what counts is the interest. And if Amadou Ahidjo was bent on defending the interests of French Cameroonians and his own interests, political interests, what prevented West Cameroonian politicians from doing the same? At the Fumban conference, there was a time when Foncha and Joa were quarreling publicly. And Bilek walked up to Ndeli and said, please let us intervene and advise them not to expose us. And Dr. EML Ndeli replied, allow them. They brought us here. That should give you an idea. And surprisingly, when on Friday, the 21st of July 1961, Southern Cameroon delegation presented their suggestions after they looked through the draft, they told Ahidjo and thanked Ahidjo for having allowed them to go through his draft. Get that very well. Thanked Ahidjo for having allowed them, which means what? They felt that they were not equal and intentionally or not exposed themselves. One would have expected that Southern Cameroon will come with its own draft, the Republic of Cameroon will come with its own draft, the two parties will sit, discuss, and finally adopt a single draft. But that was not the case. We thank you, Mr. President, for having allowed us to have a look at your draft. So these are some of the points which led to the suffering of West Cameroonians. And it should be stated clearly, this is not politics. There is an Anglophone problem. And the Anglophone problem runs through marginalization and all what we are experiencing. Be it the educational system, administrative system, legal system. There is an Anglophone problem.
And if you were called upon to make proposals for national unity to be strengthened, what will you be saying?
First of all, Cameroonians should be made to understand the importance of national interests. It's so disheartening that most Cameroonians put their personal interests above national interests. And I'll just give one example before I move into your question. Is it acceptable that Cameroonians, civil servants, will embezzle billions of francs, and Cameroonians have ill-equipped hospitals? Cameroonians don't have roads, and Cameroonians will embezzle billions of francs. It is aching. How do you explain that in some government schools, pupils don't have adequate classrooms? They sit on the ground, bare ground, and follow up lessons. Cameroon is a rich country, very rich in human resources, very rich in natural resources. So where is the problem? The supreme interest of the nation. Now to come back to your question. Once there is the political will, unity is assured. And it should be recognized that the Cameroon nation is made up of at least 250 tribes or ethnic groups. And these 250 have their different cultures, their different traditions, which means we should preach unity in diversity. We should allow each culture to flourish. At the end of the day, the national interest is paramount. So what I'm suggesting is that Cameroonians should not have this tendency, this fear that federalism means secession. No. It doesn't mean that. My advice is that Cameroonians should have the political will. Federalism is not a magic word that will solve all problems. Nigeria is a federal structure, has problems. Even the US has problems. But so far, it is the best system of government which can help individual groups to express their feelings and develop. So I would advise for a federal structure, not a return to the two-state. The federal structure of the 10 present regions, the 10 states, as long as the financial formula will be well spelled out, so that each state should understand that the bulk of its finances to run its activities, social, economic, whatever, will first of all come from that state or region before looking up to the federal system. So my advice is federal system should be given a try, but not a return to the two-state. Because once you are talking of a return to this two-state, because the story is self-determination, fine. Then allow each state to be on its own. And the best way out is the federal structure.
Professor of History Victor Julious Ngo on Cameroon Calling, broadcast on the CRTV radio network.
Good day, fellow Ambazonians. My name is Dennis Lehman. I listened carefully to what Professor Victor Ngo had to say about his own version of the history of the Cameroons. I want to thank you guys for sharing that message. And it is very important we come together to highlight the inaccuracies that Victor Ngo, who has been a very active agent of La Republic of Cameroon, is out to disseminate amongst our people. You know, they say if you don't know your history, you will never know who you are. If you don't know where you're coming from, you will never know where you're going to. I want to first start by debunking this idea of a Cameroon. The concept of statehood means a people exist with a government on a well-demarcated territory. They might be sovereign or not, but three elements must be highlighted: a country, a people on a territory with international boundaries. So when Victor Ngo talks about reunification, it shows his level of ignorance on the political history of the territory which we call today either Southern Cameroons or La Republic of Cameroon, provided on what spectrum you belong to. So in law, a country only exists when it has well-demarcated border. It has a population living in that well-defined territory, and it has a government that administers the territory. The country called Cameroon, with the K, the German Cameroon they refer to, is a myth. It never existed. So before 1884, we had a homogeneous population. When I say homogeneous, in the sense that they were racially the same, living all over the Gulf of Guinea. There were no boundaries. Each village or each community was a sovereignty. It had their small principality with the chiefs and the kings and the fawns. Each of them had their own small boundaries which were not formal. There were no boundary stones or borderlines. Africans have always existed like that for generation upon generations. So this claim of a Cameroon that existed is just a fallacy. So before 1903, there was no map. The first map was crafted by a German, I think it's Max Moisel or something like that, in 1903. The map included a large portion of Nigeria today, Chad, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Congo, and so forth and so forth. When the Germans came after the Berlin Conference in 1884, they used the treaty they had signed with the chiefs in Douala, mainly Douala Mangabel, who was a big chief in the coastal region in Douala. The treaty was signed between the Germans and the Douala people. It did not include the people in Victoria, Bafut, Nkwen, Ndonga Mantu, all the grassfield region. Those people had nothing to do with that treaty. So when the Germans came in, they started now fighting those tribes and signing treaties with them. We know about the treaties they signed with the people in Barombi, the treaties they signed with the Bafut people and all of that under gunpoint. So when they talk about the country called Cameroon, we need to be very careful. There has never been a country called Cameroon. The Germans came and signed a treaty and said, listen, we want to be your protectorate from the other Western powers. And the people believe that, okay, you know what, let us sign. You guys will be there protecting us from that. It did not mean that somehow Douala Mangabe was somehow the king or the president of the whole territory. He was just the king of the Douala people. He wasn't the king of the Bakwere people or the king of the Fumban people. The Fumban people had their own king. So when they bring up this one Cameroon story that we used to be one, it is just terrible, because if that is the case, they should bring also the Fulanese, because our parents used to trade with the Fulanese. Part of our families are in Taraba State, that we speak the same dialect. So should they also go and claim those people? There was never a Cameroon. There was never a state in conventional wisdom called Cameroon. There was never a country. Proof, can they show one treaty that was signed by that country? Who was the president of that Cameroon in 1903 or in 1880? There was no king or president or boundaries, so you cannot consider that territory a country. So there was never something as a one Cameroon, and there shall never be a one Cameroon. We used to have sovereign tribes living beside each other as small principalities. That is why the Germans had to come in, go into the interior, fight to conquer the Bafut people, fight to conquer the other people around, before they could even administer the territory. By 1914, barely 11 years into it, the Germans, World War II started. And the war protracted for 4 years to 5 years. And the Germans were defeated. And they stopped their adventure. That is why a lot of our people could not even speak German, because they only dealt with the Germans from 1884 to 1914. That is 30 years. Okay? Less than the amount of time Pobi has been in power. So because Pobi has been in power for 42 years, somehow all of us, we are Bulu. That is the logic they are trying to bring. So what I'm trying to say here is simple. First of all, Victor Ngo doesn't master the history of Cameroon and the history of Southern Cameroons. He doesn't understand the difference between political institutions from local dialects. So, I mean, I find it disturbing that a lot of people are sharing it and they are like, oh, you see, this is some proof that there was a one Cameroon. No, there has never been a one Cameroon. The state of La République du Cameroun existed legally from the 1st of January 1960. That is when it became a sovereign country with its border, a government, and a people. They were called La République du Cameroun. That is when they became a country. Likewise, the Republic of Southern Cameroon existed as a territory, be it trust territory under the UN, be it a League of Nations mandate under the League of Nations, be it under the German protectorate. We still had our funds, our institutions. So where does this stupidity come from that somehow, because we used to live in that territory, all of us, we used to be a country? There has never been any country called Cameroon by law. By international law, the Republic of Cameroon was born on the 1st of January 1960. La République du Cameroun had its flag, its president, its parliament, and the police, the military from 1960. That is when they became a sovereign country. We were not part of them when they became a sovereign country. They became a sovereign country and they don't represent us because we were the Republic of Southern Cameroons. If you even go into the trash that they had in Fumban, if you look at Article 56 of the document, you will clearly see how it was crafted. The government of the Republic of Cameroons and the government of the Republic of Southern Cameroons, which used to be under British Southern Cameroon. Proof, if we were still the government of the Republic of Southern Cameroons under the British needed to be in Fumban for that treaty to be valid. If you cannot sign a treaty with the Republic of Southern Cameroon when they are still under Britain, Britain has to sign as the protectorate. Even if you follow the logic of the UN. For example, France cannot sign a treaty with Guam of the United States or Puerto Rico, which is a territory under the United States. UK cannot sign a treaty with Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is under the protection of the United States. Britain can only sign a treaty with the United States over Puerto Rico or Guam. So Mr. Ngo has like no knowledge of international law, and he has this quack history book he's been writing for years that is not even the history of our people. For people who think that we were not a sovereign state when the treaties in Fumban was being signed, all they need to do is to ask themselves, why was Britain, the British commissioner, not in Fumban? Given that if we were still a British Southern Cameroons, not the Republic of Southern Cameroons, if we were truly the British Southern Cameroons, the government of the Republic of Southern Cameroon under the British, Britain was supposed to be the signatory, not Foncha and our deputies. I don't even want to go up to the illegality about the referendum of 1972 because by 1966, the foundation of the union was already destroyed, given that La République du Cameroun, which became East Cameroon, and the Republic of Southern Cameroon, that became West Cameroon, had two different forms of government. La République du Cameroun had a presidential form of government where they elect their president through direct universal suffrage. The Republic of Southern Cameroon had a parliamentary system like the UK. We did not vote for our prime minister directly. The prime minister is voted when the party he belongs to gets a majority or forms a coalition to become the majority. That is only when they can form a government. So without having multiple parties to compete and one of them win the election to form a government, there can be no government in the Republic of Southern Cameroons because we have a parliamentary system. So when the federal government, when Ahijo, because he doubled, right? He complained that Foncha could not double as the vice president and of Southern Cameroon and the prime minister of Southern Cameroons and the vice president of the federal republics. But he was also doubling as the president of La République du Cameroun and the president of the Federal Republics of Cameroon. So you see, the fraud already started from 1966. So he came in as the federal president and said we should have one party system. How can you have one party system in a parliamentary form of government? So one party system could be applied in La République where he belonged to, but not with us, because we had a parliamentary system when people had to run for the legislature, and then that is only when they can form the government and they will have a new prime minister. So our relationship with La République has been fraught from day one. I can keep going and name all the instances where the judicial system was distorted. It has become, it's a way of life for La République du Cameroun. So anybody wanting to live with them is free to go and live with them. But they cannot force us to be part of them. We have never been part of La République du Cameroun. That is even why Secretary Mayoka, when granting the TPS, clearly stated that the TPS will cover Cameroonians and people who have been residing in Cameroon who are now in the United States. That is why when the UN mission came to visit Paul Biya, they brought two maps. The map of La République du Cameroun and the map of the Republic of Southern Cameroons. Those are two legal entities that exist by law. So we are not secessionists. We are not separatists. We are restorationists. We are trying to restore our homeland that is being occupied by La République. Let me end here, not to take too much of time, but I wish Victor Ngo go back into history and give us just three things. When that state of Cameroon existed, who was the president, and what was the boundary? Because if he is focusing on the boundary, the maps that was made by the German cartographer, he is really an insane person. Because that map was made as part of the protectorate of the Germans, right? It wasn't a country. It was a territory with multiple sovereignties. Each king was a sovereignty on his own land. So there was never a sovereign state with a president, because Douala Mangabel was not the president or the king of the Bafut people. They did not even know him. So again, people should not be bothered by the nonsense being shared by Victor Ngo. And I'm calling on Ambazonians to get up and work. Those of you in Germany, form an Ambazonian society there. Go to the German Foreign Office. Request all those documents between us and the Germans. They owe us that and they will give it to you. You cannot go there as individuals. That is why I'm asking Ambazonians in the United States, in the UK, to form Ambazonian societies. Go to the British office and ask them to show us that union treaty that they claim we signed with La République. They owe us that. Let Ambazonians in the United States organize themselves, form the Ambazonian community in the United States. Let us go to UN. Let's go to the White House. Ask them to provide us all those documents. Our children are dying. Our people are suffering. If there are documents we had signed with these people, let them show it to us. They owe it to us. So I'm speaking like a brother, like a son, like a father. We need to sit up, stop this triviality about groups insulting other groups. These are all virtual groups that have no power. These titles of presidents, IGs, and all this nonsense, we need to stop this, brothers. We are restoring a sovereign country that existed with territorial boundaries, with a map and a government. We had a constitution. Why are we belittling ourselves? I think it's high time we sit up and we examine all our possibilities and get our people together to stand up for their freedom. It's not time now for people trying to prove who is more popular than who on Facebook or social media. We are past that, my brothers and sisters. Let's come together and work for our freedom. This is your brother, Comrade Lehman. Thank you.
Listen to Professor Victor Julious Ngo elaborate on where these controversies are coming from.
So controversial today?
Well, I think it's the bottom line is that Cameroonians, in their vast majority, and especially Anglophones, given the outbreak of the Anglophone crisis, have all become historians, political historians, constitutional historians, constitutional lawyers, and that's the problem we have. They have distorted Resolution 1608, and they have become so emotional, so to the extent that they want to believe what they want to believe, and they insist that others should believe what they say, and that's the problem we have. Resolution 1608 subsection 15 is clear. It did not grant Southern Cameroon separate independence. So those who call for the restoration of Southern Cameroon's independence based on Resolution 1608, they are deceiving the public, deceiving Cameroonians. Secondly, Resolution 1608 did not say Southern Cameroon achieved independence before reuniting with the Republic of Cameroon. There is nothing as restoring our independence. Southern Cameroon did not get independence before negotiating for reunification. And it is also important to make it clear. There are other schools which wrongly say the so-called reunification between the Republic of Cameroon and Southern Cameroon is null and void because UN Article 102, 103 specify in essence that any international agreement or treaty between states, between member states, must be registered and deposited at the Secretariat of the UN. Of course it is true. But they fail to make Cameroonians and Anglophones especially understand that Article 102 talked of UN member states. UN member states. Southern Cameroon was not a UN member state. The Republic of Cameroon was a member. The Republic of Cameroon became a member of the UN in September 1960. So if at all any country had to invoke Article 102, it should be the Republic of Cameroon, because the Republic of Cameroon was a member. Southern Cameroon could not, and Anglophones nowadays should not deceive the public that they are trying to invoke Article 102. Southern Cameroon was not, I repeat, not a member
of the UN during the period under in discussion. And so,
okay, you come in very briefly, then we move over to
yes, Mr. Leo. You see, after Professor Julious, I think this thing has to be really clarified. Was there reunification? Was there reunification between Southern Cameroons and the Republic of Cameroon? When you look at the those who are supporting what the government is doing, they will tell you that the plebiscite was reunification, and that is the reason why today plebiscite day is celebrated as Youth Day, because they consider the plebiscite day as the reunification day. But the UN said no. After the plebiscite, we have to finish. We have to clear the table by dealing with this question of trusteeship, and that is why they came up on the 21st of April with 1608. Now, when they asked that the party should sit on the table, I said earlier that Southern Cameroon was an independent province within the Federation of Nigeria with its own constitution, which I showed you here one day. The Republic of Cameroon also had its own constitution with its own government. And the UN said the government of Southern Cameroon, the Republic of Cameroon, and Great Britain sit on the table. That was the reason why Aijo called Foncha and they went to Fumba. Nothing came out of it. They went to Yaoundé. Now this is the point. Instead of signing the Union Treaty, we have a problem here because Dr. Victor Julious Ngo, Professor Julious Ngo, seems to say that there is a problem with that unification, which is true because you find one country, the 1961 Constitution, the Constitution of 1st September 1961, was an act of the Republic of Cameroon's Assembly alone. Southern Cameroon did not participate in that constitution at all. So this is what we have here as a problem. Two states want to come together. One of them calls its assembly and enacts a constitution that it now applies to both states. That is the problem. You see, that federal constitution was the job of the Parliament of the Republic of Cameroon alone. Southern Cameroon had nothing to do with it. So as of today, Cameroon is in a legal jungle. Because if you look at that constitution, there is nothing inside it that should make it applicable to Southern Cameroon. Nothing.
Fellow Ambazonians, I don't listen very keenly for my colleague Victor, or they call Julious Ngo. I be too sorry for talk say for big man like you, for another big man for coach another one. As you think say you bite man for back foot and not the hurt you, tomorrow go hurt you. Mr. Victor Ngo do have history, he don't know his history. Because if he be no book, they call it Professor Ngo, if he really be no book, he go determine how a senior brother treating a junior brother. And not mean say you get for maltreat, you get for delete. Treat a junior brother, a senior brother as a junior brother. I mean, it's understood. Therefore, because we are joining you like a senior brother, pay us. Let us also grow. But did they do that? Mr. Victor Ngo, you are for your big book where you sabi. Me are the one ask me, you know, me we sabi from you. Say you when they talk say your small brother tell you say petty like a senior brother. Yes. Like Republic, it get independence. 1 year, 4 months, they were already senior. And this is happening not even up to 1 year, where Ambazonia, former Southern Cameroon, they get independence. So if they term themselves like junior brothers at the time, where is the wrong in that Ngo? That one means they get for marginalized Southern Cameroon, they get for colonized Southern Cameroon. Now the reason that way your mommy and papa carry you Cameroon and for Southern Cameroon, you claim and for be your land. Victor Ngo, your sense don't the book where you get them, you not get common sense. Make I ask you again, you Victor Ngo, if you get a senior brother, and your senior brother they treat you like a junior brother, if they beat you, seize your shirt, take your drawers, take your shoes, take your book, take your pen, deny you even for chop. Treat me as a junior brother means that let us live together like a family. Do good to me. Ngo. For carry all ammunition cross go live and for north. It was that a good sense? For transfer all the British militaries, take Mbambala them send them. Kale comes start for Southern Cameroon where you know. Was that a good treatment for a good treatment which a senior brother can treat a good junior brother? Mr. Victor Ngo or Dr. Victor Ngo make a respect you, you know for respect, even for respect you are the place where they put your placenta. A bit too sorry for go to that extent. When they say big brother treat your junior brother, let me make I understand. A not talk say treat me a junior enemy. They say treat me like a junior brother. The word brother means what? Togetherness. Instead, big brother sleep hungry, make a give small brother may chop. But that's where it happen. You wake up, you sweep all house, take and go. You Victor go know the shame for stop for media. Tell the world how they've been begged Papa Ahijo. You used to call Papa Ahijo. When your papa the beg where to live in Southern Cameroon at that time where French they treat them like animals, you be called Ahijo Papa at the time. Victor, make we really be very careful. You political harlots are terrible. If you are doubting why I'm calling a political harlot, me and you been there for CDU. You come and go UNDP, you dive back to it, you vomit, go back to chop the same vomit where you be vomit and you go back to CPDM. That's why I call you political harlots. If that man with the call Parliament need to talk for you, so if you remember the man with a belief delegation for South for Meme, Safe Southwest for Fumban for during the 1992 election will be go there for the conference of identity. The man will be even nominate Abuno, Rose Abuno. If you remember that person, make I identify myself for you. You know me, but I know you well. Ngo, leave that noise. It don't too much. Be ashamed of yourself for the qualification where you get. You see, when they swear some things, say, man will talk like me, you go die ignorantly. You don't know. You think say you want find ministerial position for the Republic. Now your country, they go give you. They go give you. Even the one you want be which kind of thing for they go give you. But you not find for talk lie. It's not shame for man with no history like you. You not feel define. You not feel define the treatment that a senior brother should give to a junior brother. Therefore, you are not human. You are so animal-like. Yes, because na dog, if he fight chop with a small brother, but it seldom happen. Then you really pass you bad pass beef. If you not feel reason say if at all, let's say yes, Foncha and whoever be talk for you say treat us as a junior brother. In the sense, independently, La Republic get independent for October 1st, 1960. 1 year, 4 months after, before we get independent, which means that we're junior behind La Republic. They could call Mr. Ahijo like a senior brother. Does that not make sense to you? So you used to say the talk say, does that determine if we were one? If a junior brother is asking a senior brother to take care of you, how does the separation come? A brother, that's the English you use so badly. If you said a senior enemy was being backed by the junior enemy, that's another thing. But define and find you go. If you get followed back, how were you treating your follower? Even now, how do you treat your follower? This is a disgrace. Politics don't just damage people. That's why I term you PhD holders as permanent head damage. You actually have that permanent head damage. This audio make a go reach for Victor Ngo. I beg the Southern Cameroon radio. I beg una echo this thing to reach for Ngo. Una call Dr. Ngo. I don't know, but that's a man with permanent head damage. He not really get the head. If he don't be damaged, I be too sorry. And when they talk like that, people they clap and they think say they talk a good thing. When it's fumbling, if you say that in the class, are you really? What are you teaching? What are you teaching people? You are teaching them tautology. a senior brother to treat a junior brother with kindness. And try to be sober. With perfect love. But where is the love? Then you conclude by saying, does that make them equal? Who has ever said there was equality? A senior man cannot be equal to a junior man. La Republic had independence, whether rightly independent or not, in 1960, October 1st, and in January rather. In January they had independence. And if Southern Cameroon were given independence on October 1st, 1961, how are they equal? There's no equality in it. Otherwise, asking me to join you like a senior brother, I give you that respect. That does not mean that I don't know my identity. I don't know what analysis you want, then you can understand. For the fact that I come to join you like a junior brother, that does not make me and you equal. It means that you have to treat me like a junior brother. And how do you treat a junior brother really? Take your chalk and stand back on the board. You are a professor. Analyze it nicely. Do you become so evil to your junior brother, or you treat him with meekness? You must be compassionate to your junior brother. You may likely not even eat, let your junior brother eat. But is that the case? And you are talking stupidly. Ngo, if they ask you a question today, what evil did Southern Cameroon do that forced La Republique or France to order La Republique to start fighting, and you are fighting stupidly like dogs? What error? Let us know the error. From the word go, from 1961, you started smashing these people down. Up to 1972, you did what you did. You are the people who succeeded first. Again, you brought in unity by force. The people didn't say anything. God, let us be honest to ourselves. This is why me I talk so when I PhD holders are permanent head damage. Because people like Bobala would be able to stand before you because it is a permanent head damage like you and tell you the truth of the story because you don't know. Maybe you were not even born at the time. And if you were born, you were a child. You heard the history partially. And you want to analyze it your own way because you are a doctor. To hell with their doctorates. The Palman Fede talk so. I know the kid for back. I be too sorry. May when I share this audio, make it go for far and wide. May meet the Victor Ngo or Julious Ngo, whatever they call it. I don't fucking care. Or long knows what. It go be the biggest shame. The biggest shame. Say man like Julious Ngo, when I whole big teacher, he never defined himself like a slave. The big teacher like he never knows a truly colonization, no day again. Even the primary school man will believe him years ago and no say William Wilberforce if he don't talk to slavery no day. But Ngo, as a professor or whatever he is, they call Dr. Ngo, they don't decide sign and they leak the blood for slavery. If he papa, they will not know the book way he get and they accept to be slaves. And nobody knows saying go fit accept to be a slave. Wait till the benefit way La Republic of Cameroon they get from France for the donkey years where they did under France. Where if Dr. Ngo enough upon eye for say he be cheated. What a disgrace if you go to the capital where you call and say capital for a country where they call Yawende. Go see for how many years we see to get independent from 1960. January 1960 carry to how many years? Look at the development way for your country where you call and say na your country. But every resource they go to France. Ngo, you not even shame for say Paul Biya where they be the person where the need for you before a stay for France and talk say we don't struggle for marginalize these people for long. And you wake up with the make noise, you know the shame. Why only simple things like this you not feel reason? Then which kind of book you serving Ngo? Ngo, me a bit too sorry. You are a disgrace to yourself. Plenty francophones like you that they tell you clearly say these people have the right to shift themselves out. because they done too much. Make we talk rightly. You forget for Sabisi we get the two they call passport for in between the two countries. Or you know we know so we use laissez passer for cross camp on the side. Because your papa they run they enter cross Mongo for foot. Cross camp stay for we side the bond when I enter chop flop. Man no ask question. Now it make you no know you the difference no. Okay, but now we don't tell you the difference. Wait till me you hide not the fit for tell you say this thing the work not true. Victor Ngo, I be too sorry for you. See, may you take your tongue, count your teeth for your mouth. Make I tell you, say nobody know the cheat God. You like you know book reach for heaven, you never cheat God. But I show you, say God there with you. God not God make you. If you think you know all things, you don't know nothing. When you the chop, she don't use a very big head way. You get pH for inside. Listen, watch where use your brains. Imagine the work with your tongue they do in between the two jaws. The wrap way they wrap the chop from the whole bowl where you put them from up. The each chakram sote a push them from teeth to teeth until they can small. Where you go push them for inside for go for your belly. You then you begin to say you get for fear God. You are those born pagans where they call you Catholic Christians when you are not Christians. I be too sorry. I be too sorry. Now when me beti say una go fit stay for up there for tell me I say no, this is not even a good idea. Our brothers were living well. We never see any problem where they cause them. With a bunch of accidents where we don't cause them. Ngo, you never get sense until today for really check one thing. I be too sorry. As may they send this audio, they meet up you when you listen them. May you first shame for yourself, then you change. If you know one change, you will even maintain the life where your papa live, because you lie a show very open. You deny for tell people what you know, or you don't even know say you tell people. You are big brother, treat your small brother like you are big. What do you mean by that? You go for conclude by saying, does that make them equal? How can they be equal? Does it therefore mean that until you are equal, you cannot treat somebody as a small man good? Your mommy be don't put chop on that too. You chop deny a small brother because now you big. Massa, the funny you. You really funny go. That means I don't try for stop it, don't pass me. If you be near me, I'll put finger for your face, right for your eye. And I know go shame because you never shame for yourself. Now big shame. Small school class 7 picking sabi say he brother fall for like 3 he go say and for draka may come out. That is the way a senior brother has to treat a junior one. You don't chop beef, you totally you broke pot, you not even sabi you are left and right again. I be too sorry. And your friends would laugh. Professor Ngo, I said, what have you said? Just define what you said. You said don't talk. Naturally, scientifically, a senior person pays respect to the junior one and treats the junior one with perfect care so that the junior one can grow. Is that the way we have lived? Where are the seaports you were enjoying when you were small? Where are the airports you saw with your eyes when you were small? Ngo. Where are the banks you saw with your eyes when you were small? Where are the companies that were reigning in West Cameroon that kept you happy? You were going to school with enjoyment. Where are they? Mr. Ngo, I beg, if you sleep bad bed, go back, go change beddings for that bed. Now, Paman fade for your back too. If you go continue for campus stage, and I hear you sometime I go talk to you, you know be expecting from me. Thank you. Just close your eyes and apologize to the Southern Cameroonians. You are mistake, you are mischief, not even mistake, because I know you like a political harlot. I don't first analyze them for you how me and you hawk, how you hawk from one party to the other. We come out CPDM because the state was not good. We wanted a change. We go join Adamun Damjoya. You be there very well. We will be vote Adamun Damjoya a unique candidate. Yes, the mistake way Mr. Frundi be make, where they come by you later, you be there the right away there. Now you come out when Frundi be make this mistake, you with the Marisha them with the Abuna Rose them when I jump go for for UNDP. When Bello Buba say the situation no go find a position for la Republic, we not all follow go la Republic. They are call you a political harlot. If you they talk about when I coach my I did tell him a flop. I not foolish. I know jam sense like you where you know say big brother get for treat small brother with perfect care. Asha.
Yeah, I will fight to the day I die. For my nation is see the light. This is not fair. The group will be killing us every night. I will do what I know is right. For the world knows that we got the right. We go to fight them day and night. Make the devil know say nah he be lie. I know the rap will impress my nation. I do rap for defend my nation. See a TV in a fake station. Fake news be their main intention. They go stand on to kill them all. Go stand on to broke the laws. Go stand go to kill them all. Broke the laws and fuck their rules. Counting our riches them already know. Many resources we carry. Raising the money to win for the struggle. That's what I thought so we carry. Team I come out for a land. Coco too much for a nation. Mineral no be any man get them. You say nothing I got it to give them. Diamond who get them. Gold who get them. Banana rubber who get them. Tea and coffee now we still get them. We not like we not call we Bamenda. We not like we not call we terrorists. We not like we not call we extremists. That name done the key we strong.
Freedom fighters, freedom fighters, freedom fighters, freedom fighters,
we dey free.
Freedom fighters, freedom
we done dey free.
Freedom fighters.